now this is when you're starting to get kicked out of school. You're fighting. You don't want to go to class. You want to hang with the homies. You want to roam the hallways. You want to do all this. So now all this comes. So you got a straight path to either getting sent to continuation school. Continuation school is when you get kicked out so many different schools in LA, they send you to alternative continuation school. The next step after that is juvenile hall, which we wasn't tripping anyway, because during my time, the mentality was, oh, I can't wait to go, because you want to go up in there and show enough get your gang bang on now,
right.
you know?
Right, man. Let's get into the actual history, right, of the whole Crip thing, right, for us as out-of-towners. I actually been to LA a bunch of times. I actually just recently lived there for 6 months in 2001, right? So I understand the culture. I understand how it was engraved into the lifestyle and things like that. But I would honestly say, right, being out here from Texas, right, and me personally, being introduced to cripping or gang lifestyle through like Colors, right, or seeing the movie Colors and seeing this for the first time. I never saw a Crip prior to Colors, right, and seeing my neighborhood eventually getting turned to Crips, right, as you know, the drug game started spreading more and people from LA started showing up and things like this, right? And then me, myself, getting put on the set and things like that, right? This what I didn't know about it back then that I know now about it, or the way that I perceive it now. Back then, for us, if you was a Crip, it encompassed everything with the blue flag, right? It's like, hey, we Crips and we ride with Crips. End of discussion, right? It's not until me going to LA and me being around people and being around the culture that I understand that the whole Crip thing was like a adjective to describe what kind of gangster you was, versus us being like all Crips. Because I'm like, well, hey, how did niggas start banging against each other? Well, they like, hey, back then it was old school gangs, old school gangsters, and people didn't want to be labeled whatever that other, you know, the old way. The new way is the Crip way, and we Crips. And so amongst the youngsters, it kind of just spread it in that manner. So now that I'm older, I say, damn, so now I see why it was more in y'all area, the set versus the color. I don't know if I'm making sense there.
I'm trying to understand it.
Okay, so my question is how did it go from being just a Crip thing, right? Let's say like a Raymond Washington creating the Crips, to it being, and you might not have this answer, right? This not something you may be able to answer, right? But this may be something you could give a little context to, right? Because you much older. I'm 45, you 59, right? I'm saying at the inception of it being a Crip thing on the east side, right? How did it transform to so many different sets and so many animosity amongst just, you know, how did the brotherhood go? Because in other cities, when you get to Alabama where the culture isn't there, right? Or in Texas, we all Crips. Am I making sense?
No, I know.
Yeah,
no,
especially
I'm
in
answering
the 90s.
that for you.
All
I'm
right,
answering that for you because I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, I had a conversation earlier today with one of my partners. He in Texas right now, you know what I'm saying? And we was talking along that lines. But okay, look. From 69 to 79, you had pure, unadulterated cripping. You know what I'm saying? No matter what part of LA if you throw that C up, you was accepted by the other Crips. It started on the east side. Raymond Washington started on the east side, and then he took it to the west side. Now, I'm finna enlighten a lot of people to something that some people might, want to get upset about. Like, no. You hear a lot of people on YouTube, you hear a lot of people on TV say that, like Big Tookie was a co-founder of Crip.